Hello, I'm Jerry Fort. I was tagged just recently by John Anile, tagged to do the 5 non-beer related facts about me. A lot of you that have been subscribed to me pretty much know a lot about me already. I've done stories and stuff, but I tried to come up with 5 different things to tell you about that don't have anything to do with beer. So the first thing is I lived in 6 different states. I was born in Iowa, and I probably lived there until I was around maybe 10 years old or something like that. Then we moved from there to Colorado, and I spent a good portion of my time there. We lived there for a few years, and then my folks moved to I think it's South Carolina, I think. And then I lived a good portion of my life there, and then we moved back to Colorado, and a few more years there, and then we moved to Arkansas. Yeah, I went to school there for for a little while, a couple years. Didn't live there for like a very long time. And then from Arkansas, we moved back to Colorado, and then from Colorado, we moved to Oregon, and and then from Oregon, we didn't live there very long either. But from there, we moved back to I think it's back to Colorado. And I spent some of my early teenage years there in Colorado. And then after that, when I was about 15, when I was about, I lived in Colorado until I was like 18, and then then we moved to Oklahoma, or rather, my folks already lived here in Oklahoma, and then later I followed. I come on up to Oklahoma, so that's where I ended up. So I've lived here in Oklahoma for 33 years. All right, next thing is, when I was very young in Iowa, a lot of you probably have already heard this story. I had epilepsy, and I got epilepsy by being hit in the forehead with a baseball bat, which my oldest brother did accidentally. They was playing baseball, and I was just a little guy, and I was walking around, and he picked up the baseball bat, and he brought it back, to get ready to hit the ball. And as he brought it back, he hit me right in the forehead, knocked me cold out, just, and it gave me a little bit of brain damage. But I was on medication till I was probably, most of my time in Iowa. I was on a drug called, I think it's like phenobarbital or something like that. That would help with seizures, and I would have a seizure just by hitting my head. Slip on the way to the school bus when I was little. There was ice on the ground, and I slipped, hit the back of my head, had a seizure. If I hit the front of my head, I'd have a seizure. My brother Wayne and I was jumping on the bed, hitting each other with pillows. He hit me really hard in the face with a pillow and knocked my breath out of me. And when that happened, I had a seizure. Just different things would bring them on, mostly just blows to the head, as if I fell or something. But I grew out of it. There hadn't been any signs of it through my life until I was like 17, 18 years old, somewhere around there. I had an ear infection, and I went to a minor emergency center, and the doctor had to found that I had a blockage of earwax on my eardrum, and he had to take this sharp thing and pick it off my eardrum, which was painful, and I was holding my breath for a long time, trying to, I was just holding my breath. And after he got done, I exhaled, and when I did that, like all the blood just drained out of me, and I just turned white, fell back. And after I woke up, he said that I had tried to go into a seizure. I almost did, but that was many years ago. So it takes a while. Your brain has to heal, but yeah, there was that. Number 3, my brother's names. Okay, my folks, I don't know why they did it, but this is how they named my brothers and I. I had 5 brothers. My oldest brother and my youngest brother are deceased, but it went Terry, Larry. Wayne is his actual first legal name is Derry, so it was Derry. Then there was Jerry and Carrie. Okay, we all rhyme. So, and then the middle names was almost as bad. It was Terry Dwayne, Larry Delane, Jerry Eugene. Wait a minute. Terry Dwayne, Larry Delane, Derry Wayne, Jerry Eugene, and Carrie Dean. So people always, relatives always bring that up, that our names rhyme like that. So let's see, number 4. Something I've always brought up to people, that in our family tree, when we finally located it many years ago, it had shown that our name, our last name, Fort, F-O-R-T, was actually, many years ago, used to be Laferte. It was, capital L, little a, capital F-O-R-T-E. But it shows later they took the La off of it and the E off the end of Fort, just leaving it Fort. But my dad his relatives way back were French. French, and I think it was mostly French. My mom, I was told she had Irish and Scottish in her. So have a little mixture there, but the Laferte came from the French side. But I always tell people that, and some of my friends have said, have called me Jerry Laferte. But I always wish they would have kept it, don't change it, because I thought it was always more interesting than just Fort, But so there's that. And then number 5 is another thing that I've told people before, is I quit school when I was 16 years old. I just turned 16, and when I turned 16, I was halfway through 8th grade, and I was anxious to get out. I'd gotten held back in 2 grades. I got held back in 4th and 6th grade, if I remember correctly. So I was a little bigger than normal kids when I was in school. I had a terrible time in school. I always contributed to the possibility of when I had epilepsy, it kind of gave me a little bit of a learning disability. I don't know if that's true or not, but I have trouble retaining information, especially like numbers mostly. Just, I mean, like mathematics, you know, I'm not good at math. I don't remember a lot of information having to do with, you know, different subjects in school. I was terrible in school. I had resource classes my whole life where, you know, a teacher would have to work with me one-on-one. I'd have to go to a special class where there wasn't many kids so they could focus on teaching us. So yeah, I mean, up until I quit school, I had a resource class where I had more one-on-one help. But yeah, I had, you know, when it comes to music, you know, musical groups, names of songs, who sang this, I'm really, really, really good at that. Because I love music, so I retain things that I have most of an interest in. Yeah, I tried to go back for my GED when I was in my 20s. My brother-in-law, you know, suggested it, and I tried it, and I couldn't do it. Studying and homework, I was terrible at that kind of stuff. Couldn't focus, couldn't concentrate. So I dropped out of the GED thing. So didn't get a high school education, but just done the best I could. Yeah, when I dropped out of school, I started washing dishes at an Elks Lodge by hand. I mean, there wasn't a dish machine, so paid very, very little bit of money. It's like, what was it? $2.85 an hour, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Might have been $3.85. I can't remember for sure, but it was like in that area. It was under $5. That was back in, you know, 82, something like that. But yeah. So there you go. Hope you all enjoyed this. Thanks, John, for tagging me. It was fun. All right. Well, I thank you all for listening, and I will see you all on the next tagging. No. All right. Bye.